What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Bust and Bash podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Cameron Bash, joined by my co-host, Ron Buster. How you doing?
Oh, I am doing fantastic. And you know what? This week, especially, has been a very blissful week because, listen, we just got, in my opinion, the most fun game that ever has come through the shelves since, I don't know, maybe since the SmackDown versus Raw days. And that's my opinion so far. And trust me, you combine that because I was playing this game while also watching Only Fools and Horses. And I got to tell you, nothing's better than that. Nothing's better than that combo. So, yes, go ahead, man.
Sounds like a good combo. But yeah, as Rom alluded to there, today we are going to be reviewing WWE 2K Battlegrounds. Now, just like Rom, WWE 2K Battlegrounds has been dominating my life for the last week, and it is the latest game to come out of 2K Games, the latest WWE game, and our replacement this year for a typical WWE simulation title. We've become used to games such as WWE 2K18, 19, 20, but after the shitstorm that was WWE 2K20, the company have decided to go in a different direction this year, not releasing WWE 2K21 and instead turning the focus to this brand new title, this brand new franchise, WWE 2K Battlegrounds, which is an arcade game, an arcade fighting game, more than it is a simulation wrestling game where you play as miniature, muscly, beefy WWE characters. They go against each other in the ring, and yeah, you just fight until one of you win. Very fast-paced, very high octane type of action, and just, in my opinion, a lot of fun, in all honesty. So we're going to be talking about this game today. We've broken it down into a couple of topics that we're going to go through one by one here. We're going to be talking about this game's gameplay. We're going to be talking about the campaign mode. We're going to be talking about the creation suite features in this game. We're going to be talking about the online modes and King of the Battleground. We're going to talk about the unlockables and microtransactions and how we feel about that whole aspect of the game. We're going to talk about how we feel about this game compared to WWE All-Stars. We're going to talk about how long we feel this game might last, how long we're going to be playing this game for, and then, of course, at the end, we're going to give you some final thoughts and review on this game. But you're going to get a good opinion of what we think about this game throughout the podcast. So, let's jump straight into it. Rom, what do you think about this game's gameplay?
This kind of gameplay, listen, I'm going to be frank. It's the kind of game that I am not afraid to have in front of me when I invite my friends over. And that's not a dig at 2K19, because that's a good game in itself. But I'm talking about for the average folk. The average folk is not into this simulation. And that's the bottom line. You know, when you get a kid who is brand new to wrestling, for example, or brand new to any sort of sports, he wants to have fun. And I got to tell you, when you get your hands on this game, you sit on your couch, you get your mates on, you will have an endless amount of time just laughing and enjoying the hell of it. And I'm not talking about just from a, not graphic standpoint, because they look like freaking bottleheads or whatever you want to call them, but because that's the hilarious part of it. But I'm talking about just ridiculous other aspects. Like you can feed the other guy to a freaking alligator. They jump. Like it's pretty much a more ridiculous version of All-Stars, and I love that game. So, yes, is the gameplay better? For me personally, as a guy who's sick and tired of all these simulation titles, yes, beyond a shadow of a doubt, yes, fantastic.
You bring up a really good point about you're not afraid to have this game on when people come over, when you got company around, and it is that type of game. The amount of times that somebody has come around my house or my partner or just anybody will ask to play the normal WWE games thinking, oh, it's going to be a really fun fighting game with the wrestlers. And while I understand what it is, while I understand how to play it, and while I can have fun with it, most outsiders coming into that game are just like, this is slow, this is a bit clunky in some areas, this is not for most casual people. But WWE 2K Battlegrounds is just a completely different picture altogether. Anybody can pick this game up. Anybody can have fun with this game. The matches last anywhere between sort of 3 to 6 minutes, so it's not a huge time investment like the normal 2K sim titles can feel like. So yeah, great point there. It is just a real universal game that anybody's going to be able to pick up and just run with. It's really easy to pick up, really easy to learn all the controls, and pretty easy to get onto that path of mastering the game. It's not a difficult game to master. And I think that's a good thing in the way, because we're going to get into the online modes in a little bit. But when you have two really good players going at it in this game, it does look and it does feel like a completely different experience compared to two more novice players going at it. Constant sort of reversals, constant parrying of the shots, and so on and so forth. And it looks like a real competitive experience, and you get to see that a little bit more because of how easy the game is to master. And I just think it creates a more even playing field across the board. So gameplay is awesome. It does lack in a couple of areas. I know a lot of people's main problem with this game when it comes to sort of the gameplay aspect of it is the limited amount of moves that are in the game. Now, for those of you who don't know, the way this game works is there are 5 classes for each of the wrestlers. There are high flyers, technical, brawler, powerhouse, and all-rounder. 5 different classes. And when it comes to these classes, each one has a move set, and then that move set is applied to everybody who is part of that class. And then some of those people have additional special moves, such as The Rock, who has the People's Punch as a regular move. Triple H has a Spine Buster, a knee drop, a suplex that are all unique to him. So various different characters all have moves that are unique to them, but not an awful lot. I would say maybe 10, 15 characters in the game currently have moves that are unique to them. So most of the characters in the game, if you're going to play as a high flyer and I'm going to play as a high flyer, we're going to have identical movesets. I think that is the case when it comes to like Rey Mysterio versus Apollo Crews, for example. If you play that match, both characters are going to have additional movesets. So you are going to see a lot of moves repeated over and over again. But my personal opinion, the way this game plays and the fast nature of it, there's enough variation in the animations, and then the animations themselves are just so sort of wild and over the top that I don't mind seeing them a few times during a match. And it's just not that big a deal to me because of the way that the game actually plays. Have you got any conflicting opinions on that?
You pointed out, like, is it repetitive? Yes, but if the repetitiveness is fun, who cares? You know, that's the way I see things. Like, you know, that's why people want to buy these fun games here and there, not because they want to critique every single aspect of it. It's because whatever they do, whatever they play in that moment, if they see something amazing, they're gonna enjoy it. It doesn't matter if the other guy's doing it as well. Is it fun to watch? Yes. Is it fun to execute? Yes. So, you know, can it be improved? Yes. But I don't see the issue. If I have fun playing it, what's the problem?
Yeah, in terms of changes that I would make to the gameplay, I'm happy for the most part with everybody having the same moveset. I think that's fine. I think that's a good base to work with. I would have liked to have seen more people have unique moves to them. If every character in the game had at least one move that was unique to them, that would have been great. That would have been, I think, really good. And the other thing I would have liked to see change is just a bit more tweaking to the reversal system. There seems like there is a lot of moments and a lot of things that you can take advantage in this game that are unblockable. And it can lead to some frustration when you feel like in a certain moment you should have been able to block this, you should have been able to get out of this predicament, but the game is just like, nope, you have to take this move, there's no option to reverse it. But it's like, well, last time I got hit by that move I could reverse it, it's like, why can't I do it this time? And it doesn't seem clear that there's anything in particular that's happened to lead this to happen, other than it just seems to be a glitch, or that it's just not working the way it's supposed to be. And then in a similar way to All Stars, more mid reversals, just more opportunity for reversing and parrying and things like that as a whole, I think would just ultimately add to the experience of this game. Is there anything you would switch up?
Right, you pointed out as well, like there were not just reversals as well, but All Stars in certain aspects of it. you were able to hit a finisher relatively much easier. It was much smoother than All Stars. And I get it, All Stars probably had way more time for, back in those days, THQ to actually produce it. But, still, sometimes, like you said, Cam, minor tweaks can really just up the game from being phenomenal to being legendary. And I think this is where the game, at this point, yes, I do think the game is still phenomenal, but, just small things like this could elevate it to becoming legendary, like the next year comes to Pain. And yes, I know I'm putting it in a high pedestal, but trust me, after going through 70 years of sim titles, yes, it's a humongous breath of fresh air, and I'm not afraid to put it next to the legendary Here Comes the Pain. I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah, it's I wasn't really around during those eras. The sort of arcadey titles that I've played are All Stars, Legends of WrestleMania, and this is just definitely standing out as one of the ones that's sort of standing above the rest. So yeah, moving on from the gameplay side of things, I think we covered everything there. Campaign mode. Just one more thing on gameplay, real quick. What do you think about the ring breaking and the weapons and the sort of alligators and all that sort of stuff that's going on in the arenas?
We need more of that stuff, dude. I'm telling you, I have never loved so much chaos ever. Like, we need TNT bombs. We need freaking anything. Just go wild. Forget about the PG stuff. Go ape stuff. I'm telling you, I love it. I love it, dude. We just need more chaos. Like, have you ever seen such anarchy before? You got crocodiles eating people. Come on, man. Come on.
Dope. I do hope that we're going to get more of this type of stuff going forward. I do hope that, because they've already confirmed that there are superstars coming as DLC. If we could have arenas come in as DLC, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, because those are limited to the arenas, I heard. So, it's I'll get to it. But those are one of the minor nitpicks, so I'll get into it.
Yeah, so there's, I think there are 6 unique arenas. You've got a bunch of arenas in the game that are just pretty much standard arenas. There's not a lot you can do with them. They're just normal arenas, nothing special going on. Then you got Boot Camp that allows you to get in a helicopter, jump out of it. That's a lot of fun. Detroit.
What else can I say?
Yeah. Detroit lets you throw flaming barrels, drop a car on people. The swamp has the alligators. Mexico has the goats. So if they were to just add more of those, just more themed maps with one silly gimmick going on, that'd be awesome. And that would just add just that little bit more to the game, adding more longevity to it. It'd be exciting with that Superstar DLC if we were getting an arena to go with it to feel excited to jump on and play with.
You give me 2 of those crazy arenas plus more superstars, I'd pay anything, honestly. Like I said, the fun in this chaotic arena is just too much to bear.
Yeah, but all the DLC's free. That's one thing for this game.
I'd still pay. I'd still pay, dude. I'm just saying. I'm still.
All right, so campaign mode. Have you had a chance to give this one a whirl yet?
Yes, like only for a few, but I gotta tell you, it's so stupid. I love it. How the hell do you get Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon in a freaking restaurant, and all of a sudden all of this is Paul Heyman's pitch, right? Is that the whole scenario of this whole beginning, I guess? Because I haven't seen the end of it, but more or less, like that's the way it is. When it comes to the story, I mean, if you compare it to, let's say, the legendary SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 campaign, is it as engaging? No. Is it going to make you feel like you are, even if you have a created wrestler, are you going to feel like you're connecting to it? No. It does feel sometimes a bit of a grind, which I'll get into, but overall, honestly, it's still enjoyable, I'd say, basically because you got that comic panel, you got everything layered out for you in such a fun way. And the key word about this is fun. It's stupid. And combining that along with the gameplay that comes afterwards, and mind you, the loading times aren't bad at all. Like usually, there is the loading times, and this was back in the WWE 13 days or even WWE or SVR 2011 days. You have to go to the freaking locker room, talk to these guys, then talk to that guy. In this case, nope, here's what you got to do. Here's the cutscene. Bam, you're in. It's fast-paced and it's enjoyable, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with all that. I One of the things that I found most surprising about the campaign, so where the campaign works is it's set up into these different areas, all those arenas that I talked about a few minutes ago. Each section of the game is a different arena, and when you get to each section, you play as a different custom created character that they've pre-made for you. There's an alligator guy who wrestles alligators from the swamp. There's a luchador from Mexico. There is some cybernetic hacker guy in Detroit. They got a whole range of characters there. And yeah, one of the things that I was surprised was that whenever they throw these custom created characters at you in video games, and I'm thinking specifically about 2K20 and Red and whoever the other one was that you had to play as during that career mode.
Oh, wait. Forget about that. What about the legendary Jacob Cass in WWE 12?
Oh, boy. Boy.
Yo, no matter what you created, that's your name in the season mode or story mode, whatever that was. But still, yeah, Red, I forgot the other name. Still, like, that was your created suite, and it was boring. It was generic.
Yeah.
Yo, the freaking names these guys put, they are so crazy. I forget.
Billy Huggins is the alligator guy.
Of course.
Was some of them are escaped. Jessica Johnson is the Scottish girl from the castle. So they're just, my point is they're interesting characters, and even though we don't have any cutscenes, the comic book strips that they show, I found those really good.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
I'm a fan of comics. I'm a fan of sort of graphic novels. I'm a fan of that art style of things. You can progress through that really well. It's set up in a really easy way, so you can just go through each of the panels and read it very coherently. And it's good, and it makes those characters interesting in a way that I don't think they would have been able to make them interesting if they had tried to do cutscenes or something like that.
Yeah. In fact, as a matter of fact, this is the same situation where the game, I don't know if you ever played it, but Max Payne, the first game, originally had these models are interacting together with cutscenes, right? However, they found it so stale that they just said, you know what, screw it. Let's just cut this part, right? Take a snap picture of it and make it all comical. And it revolutionized the way people make cutscenes. They said, okay, screw the whole thing. And it was so much more enjoyable that I think this is the same thing. It's about fun. This really makes me feel like not watching a cartoon. I'm watching a new version, like the perfect version for the cheesiness of the 80s combined with the modern day era. Just comic strips, and then you make the story yourself with the match. It just feels great, dude.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The whole Max Payne thing you were talking about and how they sort of moved over from the cutscenes over. I know people need to look at games on a case-by-case basis. I think about Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and how I've always been a big fan of the Call of Duty Zombies mode, and at one point along the way when it came to the last game, something happened during the development which caused them to lose a lot of time, and moving into that game they moved away from doing the cutscenes that they had typically done over to like the art style. It wasn't quite comic booky, but it was more like drawn art and stuff like that. And it wasn't good. It wasn't good compared to what we had, because what we had was just so crisp, so clean, so good. But like I said, it's a case-by-case basis with games. And I know a lot of people are looking at WWE 2K Battlegrounds and they're just seeing it doesn't have real cutscenes, and they're just immediately writing off as like, well, that's going to suck. They've not put the effort into to make cutscenes, it's automatically going to suck. But it's like when you actually get into it, you read this content, you sort of try and take it in for what it is, you'll have a good time with it. It is enjoyable. It is, and it matches the style of the game. It is absurd. It is wacky. It is out there. It is wild. And it just fits in with the theme of WWE 2K Battlegrounds perfectly.
Yeah, and like I said, it's really quick too. If you're a fast reader, you'll enjoy it, and might as well, well, I mean, even if they have the capacity to make the cutscenes, would it have been more awkward to see like these big-headed macho guys interacting like that? Really?
Absolutely. I think that would have been way more awkward if you had those character models try and interact, because where would have they interacted? They would have had to have just been within the rings unless they were going to have built more assets for it, and that's a whole other thing. You know, it's a budget title. It's a cheaper game. It's $40 in the US, I believe, £35 in the UK. So it's real cheap. So you can't expect too much in terms of like cutscenes and all this stuff.
Oh, but at the same time, like I said, for what you pay for, it's way more value than 2K20. I'll give you that much. It's way more value, in my opinion. I'll say it again. It's way more value than any of the 2K19, 18, 17 things combined. It maybe it has something to do with the fact that it has more charm. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that it has just more personality. But overall, I'd say comic strips over wrestling cutscenes any day, except SVR 2006. That thing was bombs.
Yeah, they've proven that it can work, especially when you compare it to the other games and just how bad those story modes were, and then you see how well this one has worked. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a win. So for me, that gets a W when it comes to the campaign mode for sure, compared to the last few years at least.
My recommendation, by the way, guys, playing through that campaign mode, do all the story first, just go in a straight line all the way to the end, and then take a break, and then go back to it at another time, and then do all the rest of the stuff. It will feel less like a grind than you just trying to do everything as you go. That's my recommendation. Moving on then from the campaign mode, let's get into the creation suite. How are we feeling about that, Rom? You had time to check that out?
Yeah, listen, limited is the word here, especially if you're a beginner, because I know you unlock. First of all, the one thing I'll say is, why do we have to unlock the slots? That's all.
Yeah, that's odd.
That is very odd. I'll say as well, there are very limited. I'll say this before. I didn't buy this game to create the wrestler. I bought this game to have wacky fun with the wacky wrestlers that I already know and love. But I know there are some people who are always going to be the creators, and they wanted this game to have all these features. Needless to say, it doesn't have the resources that the 2K titles have. Let's just put it that way. Is it extreme limited? No. There are some variants here and there that I think you'll find enjoyable. However, the one thing that it does have, I'll give it, every single item, every single created aspect of it is very different from the other, even though it's very limited, So that's the one thing I'll give it. But there are some things which do kind of limit you in a way which they're not supposed to, because there are some things that are in the game, but they are locked, which then leads to the whole microtransaction / grinding situation, which I will hopefully we'll get to very soon.
Yeah, we'll get into that one. As far as the creation suite goes, as far as its strengths, I was very surprised to see that they had an arena, create an arena mode in there, create a battleground. Usually when it comes to these type of arcade modes, you are lucky to get a create a character mode. So the fact that they had that and then an arena mode was pretty cool. Both modes are pretty limited, but again, within arena mode, you can have fun with it. There's enough options in there, I think, where you can have fun with it and you can have a little bit of longevity with it. There are some generic patterns, and then there are some actual patterns such as NXT, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, all these different ones. So you can go ahead and you can combine some of those actual ones with more generic ones, and you can create some sort of special hybrid arena. One of the ones that I was messing around with was Hippie Mania, where I took the WrestleMania brand in, combined it with this hippie skin that they got for the arenas, and it came out looking pretty decent. So you can have fun with it.
Yeah, let's put it that way. The one thing that I will say, like you said, it is limited, but I wasn't expecting a created arena. I was expecting created wrestler. Yes, I was. Very limited. Yes. But created arena is just a very extra bonus. Like, I wasn't expecting that. So now, hopefully, since they have the base of it, they'll add with every other patch or DLC that comes forward. So very excited to see what we can do moving. Like I said, dude, this is the first week. So just imagine. That's what I come to as well, how when the whole topic comes around where we talk about the lifespan of this game, which I have very good opinions of, if you can't tell.
Yeah, I think that'd definitely be a really good thing that they could do for the game is if they were to add more to these creation suites. Because the other thing I don't understand either is there's a lot of stuff in the game that is just not in these creation suites. You see the characters, the other superstars in this game, they've got all kinds of hair, all kinds of clothes, all kinds of accessories, tattoos, body hair, all different things that are unique to these different characters, but yet they're not in the creation suite. Why is that? Why can't they just be in there as well? Why can't we use Shawn Michaels' hair? Why can't we use Triple H's hair? And the big thing with that is there are no long hairs for created superstars in this game, male created superstars, and hardly any for the females either. But I don't understand why. I could understand if it was like a physics thing and long hair was breaking the game and you didn't have long hair in the game, but you got long hair in the game. I see it. It's on Shawn Michaels, it's on Triple H, and it's just a bit of a bummer because you can make some pretty decent attires in this game. I've made a couple of different characters. They're up on my YouTube channel. I've made a Keith Lee, a CM Punk, a Kurt Angle, a Rusev. So you can make some characters, but it'd be really nice to be able to make a decent-looking Adam Cole and a decent-looking Matt Riddle. And obviously, to be able to do that, you're going to need some long hair in there. So, yeah, I do hope they add some more parts to this mode. That would be a big thing for them to do. And the fact that there are microtransaction-y things in there, there are certain things within the creation suite that you have to unlock with the in-game currency does tell me that there is room there for more stuff to get added.
I think that's the plan mostly. They will add hair, some patterns, anything that will be more available for newcomers at least. I know people will be able to grind and grind and grind given the fact that we have all the time in the world for some of us who are on lockdown, whatever, but trust me, the way I'm seeing it, you're going to need more than just time to unlock literally everything the game has. And mind you, more stuff is coming on the way. So even if you think you're dried out right now, oh, you have no idea. I think this is a bit of a, I wouldn't say shady, but I think this is a bit of a, bait, just to say, hey, if you don't have all this time, maybe you could whop up the wallet and, get all the skippies. So hopefully it doesn't come to that for the next batch at least.
Yeah, so let's get into that. We were going to go into online modes yet, but we'll leave that to the next one. Let's jump straight into the unlockables and microtransaction side of this game. So I'll just break it down real quick for everybody who isn't in the know. There are two types of currency in this game. There's a currency called Battle Bucks, and there is a currency called Golden Bucks. Battle Bucks is free currency that you earn by doing stuff in the game, such as playing matches, playing online modes, doing daily challenges, etc. Golden Bucks are currency that you would have gotten if you pre-ordered the deluxe edition of the game, and they are also purchasable from your console's online store, whether it be PSN store, Xbox store, whatever the case may be. So, two different kinds of currencies, and they both unlock things in the game. They unlock a wide range of things. They unlock superstars, they unlock arena parts, they unlock custom superstar parts, they unlock ability upgrades, they unlock the ability to make your custom character stronger. There's a lot of stuff in this game that they unlock, and I'm pretty sure I already mentioned superstars. That's the big one, obviously, but most people are worried about because they want to unlock and play as all the superstars. The difference in the currency is, as such, a legendary superstar costs around 12,000 battle bucks. That's the free one, whereas you only need around 300 golden bucks to get it. To earn 12,000 battle bucks in this game, I did the math. I've got a how to earn battle bucks video up on my channel. To earn 12,000 battle bucks, depending on the method that you use and how good you are of a player you are, you could earn 12,000 with anywhere between an hour to 2 hours it would take you. So we're looking at an hour to 2 hours worth of gameplay to unlock a legendary character. And that's it. And then I guess the other thing to mention, just to break that down, is the golden bucks cost around So 500 golden bucks is the smallest package that you can buy. That costs £4, which is about the equivalent of $5. So if you were to buy 500, that would allow you to unlock a legendary character, and then you'd have 200 left over for something else. So, yeah, and that is how all the currencies in this game work. How you feeling about them, Rom? Do you think they're a good thing?
Listen, you mentioned that yes, season pass or DLCs are all free, which is great, fantastic. Even though the arena said still pay for them, but I don't like how to explain. In the old days when you unlock something, it wasn't because you grinded. You unlock them simply because you did something. Either you went through the campaign mode, you did a challenge. You didn't do something repetitive though, and this is the one thing I feel like it should have been at least handled a bit more sincerely. I think, like you said, 1 to 2 hours, especially for guys that have jobs. That's a crap ton of time to be wasting for just one character. So combining that with the new batch of characters that are coming, I don't see any average person being able to unlock everything naturally unless they whip out the wallet. So, I think they're banging on that for the average person to say, oh, screw it. Either, I'm going to just play it, with the characters I have. Or if they're really passionate, but they're still average, they're going to just whip out the wallet, man. So I really don't see it as a good or bad thing, really. I just see it as oh, crap. Do you. For in my opinion, microtransactions, depending on how you do it, it's not a bad thing. It all depends on how you handle it. When it comes to 2K, not 2K, when it comes to Battlegrounds, it could have been handled better. I'll say that much.
Yeah. I'm a bit similar to you when it comes to it. I'm a bit neutral, a bit indifferent. On one hand, I do get the fact that people want to have everything unlocked from the get-go, and they just want to be able to play with all the stuff that they have. But then on the other hand, I understand that video games got to be video games and have a reason to pull you back in and keep playing. If I give you a game and you have everything unlocked from the get-go, you're gonna play with everything for a few days, and then you're never gonna come back.
Right.
So a lot of people are gonna be on that category. This game gives you a reason to keep coming back, and if an hour or two, I feel like is a relatively average play session, even for more casual gamers. So, and that's just a legendary character, and there are not too many of those in the game. You could unlock the 4 other characters for the price of a legendary character. So where you get on and have an hour and 2 session, you can walk away with that. 4 new characters to play with the next time you come on for an hour or 2 session. I feel like the grind is okay. I feel like the grind is good. Obviously, everyone's going to focus those first currencies that they get to get the characters they want and get the characters unlocked when they're most excited and most passionate about the game. So by the time people are dropping off and they feel like, oh, I'm maybe a bit bored and I don't have the currency to be able to get the people that I want, I feel like they're already going to have those characters. And then the other thing is, if this is a game that you don't want to play, if you're not willing to grind this game to unlock people, if you don't want to play this game, then why do you want the people to begin with? Does that make sense? If you don't want to play the game to unlock the characters, if you don't want to play this game, then why do you want those characters if you don't want to play the game anyway?
Right, I get you. My main thing is that when it comes to the grind, it shouldn't feel like you know what I mean. Like it should have been like
It doesn't feel like a grind to me though. I hear a lot of people just literally. A lot of people have gone in, played one match, looked at how much battle bucks you earn from that match, done some really dumb math that doesn't really add up properly, and then just said, yeah, this game is going to take you 4 years to unlock everything. That's 4 years worth of gameplay time, folks. And it's really not. It's really not that at all.
That's exaggerating. That's just trolling for the sake. Yeah, they have an agenda against this game for those people who say that. That is for sure. I'm just talking about, for example, imagine this camp. Just imagine. Would you prefer going through like repetitive matches, or imagine if you could earn those things with a separate campaign and you just feel like, you're progressing like in a much more prestigious and much more time consuming, that's worth your time campaign. That's the only thing really for me. If I'm having fun and I know I'm progressing in a major way instead of like, side quests, or I think they even call them side quests, like miniature grinds. For me, it would make the whole grind way more. In fact, what would be called a grind? It would be just called progression. That's the one thing. If it's progression, fantastic. I just don't. In fact, the same. That's why I'm not a big fan of Destiny compared to Borderlands, because Borderlands, you unlock everything through the campaign, while Destiny 2, you have to repeat the side quests over and over again to get the new legendary skins or weapons. So I'm like, that's my only gripe when it comes to the whole progression, I guess.
Yeah, I do think there's some opportunity here, though, for them to do something different when it comes to the DLC characters. And I think based on what people are saying and various people's frustration with the way it currently works, there's a lot of opportunity there. Imagine, because when it comes to some of the online modes, like King of the Battleground and tournaments, there is leaderboards and first place spots on the line, top 100 when it comes to leaderboards, so on and so forth. You get certain rewards depending on where you come on the leaderboards. It's usually just a handful of battle bucks. But imagine if they say, coming up to Clash of Champions, they're like, right, the Sheamus is going to be released at the beginning of next week to celebrate Clash of Champions, and Sheamus is going to be available as a reward in the King of the Battlegrounds leaderboards, and only the top 5,000 players are going to get Sheamus until a week later, where he's going to get put into the store, and then you just pay battle bucks to get him.
Yeah, that would be great. That would give people like that competitive sense to actually get on the game, play it, and actually go online. That's good. Really, that would be an actual. As long as the character comes later, and it's not like, oh, this is the only gap and the only nah.
Yeah, just like a week exclusive. You earn it. You have that character for a week. Obviously, it's just going to be like. Just super competitive because everyone wants to get it, and then a week later it comes out for real. And if they did this smart, it'd just be constantly rotating. You have Monday comes around, they do the tournament, and then by the time Sunday comes around, that character gets given out. They announce a new tournament to start on the Monday, and then by the time Sheamus comes out in the store, there's a new tournament starting. So there's just constantly starting, ending, one being released in the store, 1 week exclusive for the people who got it. And it's just bish bash bosh. It'd be a really exciting way to just sort of get people engaged in playing the game.
Right, and they should continue doing this for every character. This could last for a whole year if they played their cards right.
Exactly. There's over 70 DLC people coming.
So, well, even more than that, a year and a half almost, really, if I'm doing the math correctly. So who knows? Like, it could really work for even in arenas. If they even have that or something, skins. Who knows what they can come up with? Just
tires,
just for people to come in and be competitive, because that's what the game is all about. SPR 2009, SPR 2008, 2010, all the way to 2011 was all about the competitive nature and the fun you get from it. So, and then the whole simulation came. Again, not a big fan of simulation right here, but then the whole sense of competitiveness and enjoyment and arcadeness just faded away for the sake of creation, which is like, why can't we have both? So imagine if we have Battlegrounds, right? But then you have the creative suite and the creative opportunities of 2K19. Oh, that's my dream right there. Right.
Battlegrounds.
You can actually zoom in at the freaking bombs or the alligator's mouth. The amount of classiness. I mean, you can do it if you hack the game and go to like what you call developer mode, but we're not getting into that.
Yeah. There does seem to be some hope that they're going to be doing some of these nice community engaging things. Currently, we have daily challenges that we can do, and once you have done 20 daily challenges, you're going to unlock a pair of shorts that you can use in create a character mode. That's 20 daily challenges to unlock that, which is probably the biggest grind in this game. That's going to take, almost a week to be able to do all of that. So,
right.
Bit of a grind with that one, but yeah, it just shows that okay, that's going to be a piece of equipment, a piece of gear that we're going to be able to use in Create a Wrestler that's coming a week after the game comes out. So that means that they're probably going to keep doing that, and there's probably going to be stuff coming out, hopefully pretty consistently. Is what I'm praying for.
Yeah. Really well, I think at this point I'm not gonna do freaking a daily challenge, 20 daily challenges for shorts. Forget about that. But just if they actually do your idea when the whole competitive nature actually comes around and there's one character or something up for grabs, just do it. It's actually a very brilliant strategy.
Yeah. So we've been talking about it a little bit here. Let's jump into it. Online modes, and one of the sort of big draws when it comes to this game's online modes is King of the Battleground. So as far as online modes go for this game, you've got all the pretty much classic game modes that you got in the rest of the game. The 1v1. Well, you got some of them, I should say. You got the 1v1s, you got the 2v2s, you got the steel cage matches. But you don't have the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is not something you can play online. But you can play King of the Battleground, which plays pretty much exactly the same as the Royal Rumble match, except this one can be endless to a certain degree. And you're playing online with other people compared to playing offline with up to 30 people. And yeah, so you jump into King of the Battlegrounds. When your game starts, you might be one of the first people in the ring. You might be somebody, you might join one in session, and you might have to wait outside of the ring. And then, like I said, you get in the ring, and it's pretty much Royal Rumble style. You fight to eliminate the other people. And then the idea is you're just trying to survive as long as possible. My record currently is about 40 minutes in the ring before it crashed and didn't save to the leaderboards. Rest in peace. Press F to pay respect. But yeah, the idea is you want to last as long as possible, get as many eliminations as possible, and eventually that's going to translate to a good score, which is going to earn you a leaderboard spot. You also earn a fair bit of battle bucks from this mode. It's one of the better ways to farm in this game. So if you're looking to earn characters and you're good at this mode, you're going to be earning characters pretty quickly. So there is that, again, competitive edge. People who are good at this mode are going to be unlocking all of their legendary characters on the first day. It's that type of situation. And then the only other thing that they have online is tournaments. This is the type of situation where you play 7 matches, I believe, on most of the tournaments. You play through a series of 7 matches, knockout style, working your way through the tournament. There's sometimes an entry fee involved, and then the winner takes away, so it depends, between 25 to 40,000 battle bucks, depending on the type of tournament it is. So those are all the online modes. A lot of fun online modes in there to just sort of casually play with your friends, and then a lot of sort of more competitive / I guess grindy modes where you can earn the currency in order to unlock people. And I should also note that King of the Battleground and tournaments cannot be played online as private matches with your friends in a very similar way to how the Royal Rumble can't. So, you had a chance to play with people yet?
Yes, but I haven't tried the King of the Battlegrounds yet. But I'll tell you what, Cam, even if I had never even touched online, the way you describe those, it sounds so much more better than anything in 2K18, 19, whatever. Like, do you really? I would prefer to instantly jump into King of the Battlegrounds than having to wait 20 minutes to make an elimination chamber match with connection that's probably gonna kick me out anyway. So it's really not even apples and oranges. It's basically just you gotta have common sense if you want to have fun. Do you want to go into the simulation titles and wait for eternity to have one match that has quote unquote chaos, the chamber or the rumble, or do you want to instantly jump in and get rewarded for your participation and actually have fun doing it? So and that just counts for the tournaments. That counts for even just having one-on-one matches. It's just for me in this, I only tried one-on-one. I'm gonna be perfectly clear. So call me a novice on this aspect. But even so, the amount of availability, the amount of different match types that you have right now, it's not match type, different online modes, I think it doesn't need more, compared to everything else. I think it's still fine the way it is. It's fun, it's fun. It's simple to get into. It's very easy to even get accustomed to it. It's just, and this is one of the key aspects you pointed out beforehand. During the gameplay, it's very fast to master, but at the same time, it's also very forgiving for the newcomers. That means the newcomer probably has a little bit less of a chance to win a King of the Battlegrounds than a veteran player, but still he has a good chance.
Yeah. It's I face people who are better than me. I face people who are worse than me, and there's that chance to either way just come out on top, just depending on what happens, depending on the flow of the match goes. You might get an opportunity where you're able to earn a little bit more sort of crowd momentum behind you, and then that allows you to do some missions and climb the cage easier and stuff like that. So yeah, there's lots of opportunity for people to come back and just make you have more of that anything can happen type of feel, which is obviously great for a arcade game like this. When it comes to online modes, one of the things I would love to see is I would like to see a little bit more, to be honest. I'm not necessarily saying that they need to add more game modes to the game itself, but I would like to see maybe a triple threat steel cage match. That's not an option in the game. They have a triple threat match. They have a steel cage match. They've shown me they can put 4 people in the steel cage match because you can do a tag steel cage match. Why can't we do a triple threat steel cage match? Why can't we do a fatal 4-way steel cage match? I would also love to be able to host my own King of the Battlegrounds modes. Those would be so fun as a streamer. They don't need to connect to the actual leaderboards of the game. But if I could set up my own lobby and just anybody could join it at any time, and it was just an endless King of the Battleground mode with all of my viewers, all of my friends, all of my whatever, all of my community, it'd be awesome. It'd be a really cool thing to see. Same thing goes for the tournaments. It'd be awesome to be able to set up tournaments in the same sort of way. It'd be good for your community. And yeah, just more online stuff. There's stuff that's in the game that works absolutely fine. I just don't know why they wouldn't take that extra step further and just offer that to us as something that we can play online. So
maybe they will.
give it to us.
Maybe, it's
Hopefully.
like it's just a matter. It's just the first week, Cam. Just stop being a hater.
That's true. Just like I don't know. I just feel like we're so used to WWE games coming out and looking pretty much the exact same way a year later. They'll add the DLC to the game, but WWE games typically don't get patch updates, content updates like a lot of other video games get. So I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical, and I'm not sure how that's going to look, if it will ever look like anything. It's just it's something that you got to take into consideration when it comes to these games.
Maybe you gotta unlock it. Who the hell knows? Damn straight. Who knows? But yeah, it's a simple tweak. Like you said, adding, I'm pretty sure special referee at this point is definitely not even going to be a fun thing to add. I mean, what's the point even in this case? Like, seriously, what's the point even having a special referee?
There's not even a ref in the ring.
Exactly. So what's the point?
No need of any of that stuff. Like,
right.
and other gimmick matches. I guess tables would be cool to see how that worked. But I mean, I would just prefer tables in the game just to throw people through. It doesn't need to be a tables match.
Yeah, right. Just something. I mean, at this point, a normal table it won't do, Cam. Compared to the chaos that's going in the ring, it has to be a table that's automatically on fire. Not even while you're carrying the table, your hands are burning. So that type of craziness already infused within the weapons in itself. But yes, add tables, please, for the love of humanity.
That'd be awesome. They could just do like a pay-per-view tie-in with TLC at a TLC arena. It doesn't need to be on every arena like they've got with the helicopter and stuff. Just some ladders set up in ringside that you can climb. Don't even necessarily need to pick them up and hit them with each other. Tables set up at ringside that you can just throw each other through at any point. Good shit.
All right, yeah, just simple. Here comes the pain type of fun, because it was all about the tables back then as well. So yes, bring those damn tables, as the Dudleys would say.
Get
so
the
yes.
tables.
Yeah. So yeah, but for what it is, it for this month. My chaotic satisfaction is pleased. Maybe next month they should add something like the tables.
All right, so we talked about most features in this game now. If you guys are on the fence in any sort of way, you should have a sort of good idea about what this game is all about and all its features and how we feel about them. But how do you feel about this game compared to WWE All-Stars?
All-Stars. It's a spiritual successor, is it not really at this point? I mean, it truly feels like it's advanced, but also it's limited in a way. So I'll put it in they're tied because there are some things that the All-Stars does better, like I said, the smoothness. But then there are some things that 2K Battlegrounds does better. I would say, especially with the online aspects of things. Like, remember in All-Stars, all you could barely do is maybe a fatal 4-way max. You couldn't add more people in it. But now you've got King of the Battlegrounds. You've got all these tournaments. So yes, they got it. But, it's still not above it. Legendary All Stars is still legendary. So, it's still enjoyable nonetheless. I think I made it perfectly clear that I love this game till my deathbed. I will die on this hill along with Battlegrounds and defend it as the next franchise that 2K should concentrate on. But I know that's not going to happen because they all love that 2K title. So who knows? But yeah.
Oh man, I hope so. I really do hope that this game does well for them, and then they can look at that and maybe apply it to years going forward, because they got Saber Interactive worked on this game, different studio compared to who works on the usual games. So if we had a Battlegrounds type of game come out every 2 years and a main WWE 2K simulation title come out every 2 years, that'd just be the best of both worlds, because then both games are going to get more development time. So we're not going to have issues like 2K20 had, because it's had 2 years to be worked on. And then we're going to get two different types of games. Like, we don't need a new sim game every year. We can have a sim game last 2 years. And I'm sure most of us who play the sim games for pretty much every single day of the year would appreciate if one would last more than a year. Would appreciate not having to make that jump to the next game and have to remake everything and get everything sorted again, ready to make the content months later.
Oh, I'm tired of remaking all these characters. I'm pretty sure these old guys there are people who only have one attire like me, and I'm tired of remaking it every year. So please, imagine just people who have all these different CAWs, all these characters, and they have to remake it every time, once every 365 days. If we can have that times 2, please, look, and not to mention the arenas, not to mention the logos, not to mention the import. Oh God, the imports, when they crash, it kills me. It kills me every time. So please, at least spare us the pain of doing it once every year. Just do it once every 2 years, please. Along in the middle with the new arcade game coming, perfect, man. Oh, WWE Battlegrounds 2 in 2022? Yes.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. And they could learn from whatever mistakes this game made, learn what we want to see out of another one, apply that to the next game plus more, just really expand on what they've got here, or just make a different arcade game every year. Just sort of experiment, do something fun, do something wacky, improving on the last one each time, and just do something crazy like that. But circling back real quick to the All-Stars thing, because I didn't comment on that. As far as this game compared to All-Stars go, I do think that they are both sort of fundamentally different games. Obviously, there's a cheekiness to each of them that I think is where the comparison between the two is really coming from. But yeah, two fundamentally different games. One, I feel, is a little bit more... I think Battlegrounds is a lot more competitive to play than All-Stars was. And I think All-Stars was just more pretty, more over the top in a lot of ways, and just more about just craziness and just doing wild stuff, where I feel like Battlegrounds, even though crazy and wild and just completely over the top, has that string of a competitive nature to it that I think people could get into and potentially make some sort of governed tournaments with.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that's going to give it the edge over the lasting span of All-Stars, because All-Stars, the competitive nature wasn't there that much, so it dwindled out when it came to the online scene, especially compared to the fact that it was released on the same year as SVR 2011, which was still that game itself is legendary. So you got two legendary titles in the same year. However, now you have no game coming out this year. No other wrestling game coming out this year. Maybe AEW, who knows? But I'm not gonna cross my fingers on that one. You got basically all the room left, and you combine that with more competitive nature aspects, like Cam pointed out. This thing is gonna last so much more, and it's gonna, like I mentioned before, it's one of those games that even if the online just doesn't exist, you are still gonna have fun playing it offline and just getting your friends to actually come on. If you have a party, put this game on. You don't need to bring out your PS2 and put in Here Comes the Pain anymore. No, bring this game, or just get the disc, put it on your PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, whatever you have, and you are going to have a blast with your mates, and you will not feel little bit awkward, none whatsoever. I've had so many situations where my guys came over at my house, and we would say, "Oh, let's play wrestling," and I just I don't want to say no. I just wanted to see if they could actually grasp it. They put it on, and they just get like, "Okay, so How am I doing it? Like, is this supposed to, like, what's going on? No, you're putting him in a headlock. Yeah, but it's 20 seconds, Rom. What's next? Where's the punch button? Like, you know what I mean? It's not going to happen with Battlegrounds.
Yeah, I've been in those moments. I felt every word that you said. They're very awkward.
The awkward silence of, like, they expected a wrestling game, and then they got freaking crickets. Oh no. And
I think they've realized that with this game, and I think they've realized that this is going to appeal to a much wider audience because they've really doubled down on a lot of the marketing. They got Undertaker to do a wacky commercial for it, which was with his family, which is just unthought of for the Undertaker.
I don't know how to react to that. I'm like, yo, hey, come on, man. I get it. You revealed the curtain. We get it. But please, it's a little bit too much, man. Maybe someone like The Rock, fine. Even Kane, because he's the freaking mayor now. Kane would it be hilarious, but Taker, man, whatever to the Holy Trinity. What the hell happened? No.
So, he's got a kid now.
Well, he's had a kid for a while, but Kid so Taker. What? Kid Taker, my God, Jesus. But if Undertaker's enjoying the game and is willing to do all this stuff for it, then it must be special, and I agree.
Yeah, they got Undertaker doing it. They got like streamers and content creators playing the game that usually wouldn't have played the game, that I think is just going to expand to more of just a general audience. And yeah, I think they get it, and I think they get that it's going to appeal to a lot more people, and hopefully, like I said, it does well, and it becomes something that they see as viable. WWE 2K20 might have been the biggest blessing in disguise when it comes to the WWE 2Game community. Not only are we going to be getting better simulation titles as a result of this, but there's a very high chance that we're now going to be getting arcade games at a somewhat more consistent basis because of the fuck up that was 2K20.
Right, so our pain was at least worth it at the end. There was the light at the end of the tunnel has finally arrived, and now I'm pretty sure 2K22, it being having 2 years to actually produce, to actually fix not all but most of the problems that 2K20 had, and also just moving into the more okay direction. Don't expect miracles from 2K22, but expect a good improvement. However, my main game, Battlegrounds, that's the franchise I'm saying again, boy.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna throw a prediction out here now. I'm gonna speak something into existence on this podcast.
We always do.
The next WWE game, I don't think they're gonna continue with the 2K name. I don't. I don't think they're gonna call it WWE 2K22. I think that the series that comes out of this is gonna be called something akin to WWE Universe. I think it's either going to be like WWE 2K Universe or just WWE Universe, and I think they're going to go in with that as the name of the game, the sort of theme of the game, and then just sort of make it about just all aspects of what you expect from WWE, because that's what the simulation games are anyway. It is all aspects of WWE, and I think they need to move away from the sort of shit stain that the main franchise name now has, the sort of numbered years, and WWE Universe makes sense to me. Sort of fits well with obviously the audience, the crowd, the people who are going to buy the game. Obviously they've got a Universal Champion now, so it goes with that sort of branding that they've sort of been establishing for themselves over the last few years. And yeah, just an early prediction. If it happens, look back at this podcast and remember who spoke the WWE Universe game into existence.
Cam is going to put that in existence, and I gotta follow it up as well. My prediction: they will have to get away from the numbers. That's for sure. I'm like, at that point, when people are going to be looking, the average folk is going to look at the shit stain that was 2K20, and then they're going to look at 2K22. They will be able to. They're not going to trust it. They're going to trust because there's the numbers, obviously. However, if you have, like Cam said, WWE 2K Universe, or in my opinion, you're going to reboot the SmackDown series, going to be calling WWE 2K SmackDown, which maybe that sounds hot as well, let's be frank. It's going to happen. I think the whole point is that you're going to look back in this podcast and you're going to thank both of us when we predict the fact that the next 2K game will not have any numbers and it's going to be a completely beautiful reboot. And you actually take 2K20 as well. But more or less, the two Nostradamuses right here, we predicted that stuff. We already did it with Sasha Banks. We already did it with a lot of stuff beforehand. So I'm just saying.
2K, You got my contact details. Get in contact. We're gonna make you a lot of money. All right. We
Ah.
release WWE Universe next year. The following year, we get all the SmackDown games. We remaster them as a collection. We release that. 2 years later, we drop WWE Universe 2.
Oh,
Right.
great, phenomenal.
That's how we
Oh,
do
and
things now.
and Battlegrounds 2, man. Battlegrounds 2 to 2023. Please, please, please.
Gonna be good. We got some good years ahead.
Oh,
before
yeah.
Speak into existence is happening.
Oh yeah, but but you let me speak one thing in existence. This 100% just for the sake of the topic. Well, I know for a fact with this whole retribution stuff. Cam. I'm not gonna sound smart with this, but they're gonna use the freaking Thunderdome. And they're going to use all the cameras basically in the stage, not the stage, in the freaking crowd area to have the hacker show up there. He's going to have like freaking 55 of his faces just appear around the freaking arena. That's going to happen. Like that's what it's for. I'm pretty sure they made the Thunderdome just for the quote unquote hacker gimmick. I'm pretty sure.
SmackDown hacker.
Yeah, the SmackDown hacker, because we haven't seen him in a
Think
while.
he's coming back.
Yeah, dude, he's part of the Retribution. Like
Ooh.
yeah, that's the whole point. I mean, what's the point of Retribution got into the arena because he unlocked the gates? I think that's the way it's going to happen, or whatever. It's just what it is. But he has to come back. He's been what? Did they actually drop him? Like the whole anonymous GM being hornswoggle stuff, or I don't know. It's been too memeish to drop it. So I think they're gonna connect with Retribution in some way. And no, I'm not the guy that says CM Punk is with Retribution. I think that has been beaten to death. And if it turns out to be true, fine. But it's too generic of an opinion. You know what I mean? I think WWE doesn't want to make us happy, first of all. So even if it's true, they're gonna say, change of plans. That's actually a good idea. No. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be one of those. We spoke it into existence firsthand, folks.
Oh yeah, but yeah, we'll that'll be on our next week's podcast. We'll be talking about WWE Clash of Champions that's happening this Sunday. We're going to be reviewing that like we usually do for the pay-per-views, and I'm sure Retribution are going to get up to some shenanigans there that we can discuss. But before we wrap this one up, Rom, any final thoughts or review on 2K Battlegrounds?
Get this game, guys. It's really fun. Like the past few years, I'm pretty sure people who were wrestling fans weren't fond of these new 2K titles simply because it just wasn't their type. I know a lot of guys in the SVR 2009 era, SVR 2008 era, that just faded away from the community and from these games in general simply because, they were slow. They're slower than real wrestling, and I train wrestling, and I know. So it's slower than that. And I don't know how you can do that. So yes, it really it alienated them. If you are these type of people, now is the time to hop back in and purchase this installment. I'm telling you, this is the one game that you're going to keep in your library, and you're not going to swipe it under the desk. You're going to keep it in your shelf forever because it's that fun, that replayable, and it's not a numbered title. It's really like its own universe, its own creative aspect, its own freaking game. Get it.
Incredible. It really is. I second everything Rom just said there. Definitely recommend picking up this game. It's affordable. It's very affordable. It's not the same price as a normal game. I've already seen deals on it, so it's already getting put on deals in some places, sort of Amazon UK for the Switch and PlayStation version. So shop around, see if you can find a deal on it on this already cheap game, and just have fun with it. If you've been listening to some of the content or some of the reviews that a lot of people have been putting out so far, you may not really know what to think about this game. You may think that it's a big cash cow. You may think that it's going to rinse you for all your money if you want to be able to unlock everything. It's not that type of situation at all. If you get this game, you enjoy this game, you play this game, you're naturally going to be able to unlock everything, and it's not going to be a problem. You're going to have a good time. And yeah, twitch.tv/BrokenFunBash. I'm playing it a lot. Come play with me. I'm playing with viewers all the time. It's a blast.
It is a blast. And you know what? It's the one blast is going to last for a long while. It's not going to be an annual title. It's going to be a long legendary. We're going to go back in 10 years and we're going to look at this game like, wow, this was the game that broke the barrier and brought us back to the nostalgia of the arcade style. And I guarantee you that.
Absolutely. And fingers crossed we're not waiting towards the end of the next generation of console for another WWE arcade game, which seems to be the running theme so far. I can't go back and play All-Stars because I don't have a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox 360 set up. And if it comes now, the PlayStation 5 gets set up and I eventually forget about the PS4, I'm not going to be able to come back and play Battlegrounds. So let's get one of these at the beginning of the next gen, shall we?
Right, but hold on, backwards compatibility it exists now, even for the PlayStation 5, so we're safe. We're safe, at least for this generation.
Oh, base. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this podcast, and that is our thoughts on WWE 2K Battlegrounds. Hopefully this review has helped you guys make some sort of informed decision on whether you want to get this game or not. And overall, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at Bust and Bash, and leave us some questions. Send us some questions over there, and we'll answer them at the end of our next episode, where, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about WWE Clash of Champions, reviewing that show and all the shenanigans that go down there. And by the looks of things, it's going to be a good show. I'm looking forward to this one.
Right. Oh, by the way, there is no decision. Get this game, fools. Get this game. Don't even think about it.
Get this game.
Get it. Buy it now.
Anything to plug at the end here, Rom?
Oh, just the usual stuff. You can find us on FAM Forever Movement, XFAMXHD on Twitter, and XFAMXHD on YouTube. We are nearly done. I keep on saying this, but I truly mean we are nearly done with the first episode, the season premiere, which is a 2.5 hour long show, and the pay-per-view coming afterwards, which is about 4 hours, is about 70 to 75% done. So keep a look. But in the meantime, like I said, if you want to scratch that itch when it comes to quality entertainment and wrestling, you got to go over and watch Jam. Do that.
Yeah, boy. We got our episode coming out this weekend. If you're watching this podcast live right now, Saturday over on twitch.tv/Broken Fun Bash, 11 p.m. UK, 6 p.m. Eastern, JAM Redemption, Episode 3, and it's going to be awesome. We've got the East London Street Fight main event. You don't want to miss it.
No, you don't.
Awesome. All right, guys, so the links to everything are on the screen now. Check us out. Give us a follow. Give us a subscribe. And we'll see you on the next edition of the Bust and Bash podcast.
Peace. Buy the game.
Buy it.